whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rocket's red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave?
The mission of the School District of Osceola County is to inspire all learners to reach their highest potential as responsible, productive citizens.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Valerie Martinez, and I'm here to provide interpretation services in Spanish. Mi nombre es la señora Valerie Martinez. Estoy aquí para proveer el servicio de interpretación.
Thereafter, we're at positive comments. Dr. Channel.
Thank you, Madam Chair. We have a lot of unsung heroes in this school district, and a lot of folks tend to fly under the radar for any number of reasons. Either they want to fly under the radar, maybe they just work behind the scenes, but when we see extraordinary work, no matter if they're flying below the radar or not, we need to acknowledge it. Yesterday, Madam Chair, you and I had the opportunity to walk through the new renovation at St. Cloud High School. This project, when it was originally approved, was a $15 million project. Having spent a short amount of time in the design and construction world, a $15 million project is fairly comprehensive and can come with all types of challenges. David Smith is our project manager on this particular project. David, can you come up, please? Thank you. David, as the project manager, has brought this project in $700,000 under budget, 2 weeks early, with 0 change orders. 0. We have some extraordinary folks working in our district. We get a chance to see most of those heroes when we walk through our classrooms. But we have other heroes, and David, you're one of those heroes. So thank you very much. I want to just come down and thank you personally for the work that you've done on this particular project and for making Mr. Sharma look good. Sorry, there's so much good news to share. We have 2 students at Parton Settlement Elementary School who are authors. I didn't know this until I heard from Mom yesterday, and she graciously dropped off copies of the book. So, Ms. Cahoon, because Parton Settlement is in your district, I shared a copy of the book with you. I will get copies for everybody else. And I'll get copies for all of our media centers. This is the book. Our Golf Cart. A Raymond Boys Adventure. And it's written by Penny Brown and her sons Aiden and Colton. Aiden Colton go to Parton Settlement. This is an awesome read. I have to say, I'm pretty impressed. Very jealous. I don't have a golf cart, but maybe this is a good reason to go get one, maybe, and trade in the Honda. I don't know, but this is a great read. It's a really, really awesome story, and congratulations to them. And hopefully, we'll have them visit at an upcoming meeting, and maybe they can go ahead and autograph the books that we get to the board. So thank you so much, everybody.
Mr. Melendez?
Thank you, Madam Chair. I do have a couple reports. Maybe later on we can maybe add something in new business where we attend, meetings and things like that to get the official. But I went to Miami for the Consortium on School Networking, and one of the things that came out was the fact that AI is here whether we like it or not. And the point is, you can't regulate the students not to use it, especially when we're doing homework. And so there's actually a consensus building now, and I even spoke with Dr. Shanoff about it too, is, maybe we rethink the way homework is done, especially at the high school level. So instead of doing specific assignments, doing project-based assignments, kind of like how we do at Neo City. At the end of the year, we do a reflection. So instead of just writing an essay, do an essay that has like a spreadsheet, and they have to defend themselves. Where did you get the sources from? You have to say, okay, if you got it from AI, you acknowledge it, but do you believe it? Yes or no? You know what I mean? So those are things that we can kind of look at. And to be honest with you, I've had a couple high school students, and sometimes, you're at school 9 to 5. Next thing you know, you're spending under 5-6 hours at homework every single day, and it's like, and there's really no family time and things like that. And so it's not that homework shouldn't exist. It's just that school districts are looking at it from a project-based perspective, not like an individual root assignments, because, they are going to use AI. And so we shouldn't avoid the fact that AI exists, just how do we use it to complement the studies that they got right there. So the other thing we did also was a safety and security meeting. We did a great job. I think Dr. Allen and Dr. McMahon are both very transparent on what exists. But one thing that came up that was very concerning was that they did a Gaggle search, right? And approximately more than 30% of the students responding to a Gaggle alert was due to suicide. And I was like, wow. And it was out of 2,000 something respondents. So that was something that was really shocking. And so, because I always knew that it existed, but not at that high rate. Because remember, Gaggle only captures different school electronic devices. So if I'm on one cell phone to another cell phone, you're not capturing that communication with students having some kind of issues. So 30-something% of students contemplating or thought about or using the word suicide in a sentence, to me, is just way too high. And so I would like to maybe talk to community relations or the superintendent to do some kind of outreach programs, maybe some motivational speakers to let them know that, hey, you matter. Because it's not just about a campaign poster. I do believe in the fact that we can have positive messages from people and testimonials and things like that. So I don't want to talk too long because, again, we don't really have a thing here for that section. But also, I want to acknowledge the folks at SCANSA. If they want to stand up real quick, come on in. Along the same lines as Dr. Shanoff, I'm sorry I didn't have time to print out my certificates or anything like that, but come on up here, quick. I'm telling you what, folks, Parton Settlement is in my district, but Neo City isn't. But that's okay, because they're all our schools, and we love them all. No, come on here. No, you guys get on this side. And folks who know, Neo City has won so many awards for like the original building that went up, and it was a phenomenal building, right? And so I'm doing tours with Mr. Sharma, and as I drive in there, they look almost virtually alike. And if everyone's, and that's not that easy to do, because when you're creating from scratch, it's easy to create the perfect scenario, but you guys were working within the parameters. I saw this beautiful neon sign, and some people hated that. They're like, how come my school didn't get a cool neon sign? But hey, you did what you were supposed to do. And the reality is, that school, again, it hasn't won awards, the original one did, but you guys did such a phenomenal job to make it look like one unified campus. And I feel that. I don't feel like I'm going to two different schools, because that's what I felt that would be when you build two different buildings. And so the fact that you guys were able to do it on time, we don't know the final budgets yet, so hopefully we can say something great about that. But again, if Dr. Shinoff wants to say something, but New York City is not just beautiful, but you made it feel like it's one seamless campus. And I really appreciate the attention to detail that it takes to do something so beautiful and so quickly at the same time. So
This is really a first project, first partnership with Skanska, and I think that it could not have gone any better. Everybody is thrilled with the way that the school looks. I think the students are really enthused, having done their walkthrough and having seen everything that's there. They're super excited, and this is more of a good thing, really. So it's a great environment inside the school, and really, it's about building great buildings, and it is about what the students do within that building that ultimately makes it a great place to learn. And so you have definitely put us in a great position to continue that work moving forward. So thank you very much.
Thank you. As you said, it's a partnership, and that's the best word to summarize the relationship we've had here between the partnership with the county, the building team, the teachers, the students, and we're really thankful for the opportunity to be here and look forward for more opportunities to serve the students. Thank you. Thank you.
take a photo for Dana. Dr. Shinoff. That concludes my comments, Madam Chair. Thanks, guys. Appreciate it. Great job.
Appreciate it. Yes, sir.
Mr. Arguello?
Yeah, we're just over a month, or about a month from the end of school, and I just wanted to take the opportunity to briefly say thank you to all of our teachers and the paras and the people who work out, people who take out the trash, drive our kids to school. One more year down, thank you for all that work. We know that it's a gigantic effort to do all the moving pieces. Thank you, Dr. Shanoff. I guess is it quite a full year? No?
It's 10 months, but every day is a blessing.
It feels like about 10 years. But it's been a great year. I think it's a great learning year for everyone, a great reset, and I look forward to the next one. And I hope that you guys do better and better every year. So thank you. God bless you all.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Wanted to acknowledge that decision days have been, are they concluded yet?
No,
They're still happening all over the county, and I was lucky enough to attend with you, Madam Chair, as well as Mr. Shanoff, Principal Todd over at Celebration High School. What a great event. If you really want to get pumped to see these children, these students who are moving on to the next level of their lives, whether it's going to college, whether it's going to a technical school, whether they're enlisting or going to work, it was just really great to see them kind of, put a little bow on their journey with Osceola County, and they did a really great job. So shout out to the PTA as well who put that together over in Celebration. I also participated in a town hall with Commissioner Chaudhry, and I always appreciate Commissioner Chaudhry bringing in all of us together to have one conversation about how we can improve our county. So thank you to everybody that attended that, and she will also be doing a little chat with FSBA tomorrow talking about Osceola Prosper. So getting that information out all over the state. And tomorrow I will be attending Celebration High School's Career Day. So I wanted to give a shout out to the Celebration volunteers for inviting me and allowing me to speak to the students. So that'll be great fun. Thank you.
To add to your decision days, I went to St. Cloud's yesterday, and the thing I loved about Mr. Fancher's message to his students while they were celebrating their decisions was high school graduation should not be the goal. It's what you're doing next. And so seeing that in the students with them wearing their college colors of where they're going, or if they're enlisting or things like that, and they're taking pride in what the next steps are, really truly is such a fun time of year. It's very busy, but very fun to get to celebrate with them. In addition to that, at St. Cloud High, I went and saw Mamma Mia last week, and it was amazing, phenomenal. If you have any time over this next weekend to go see it, I suggest you do. Check their social media and see when they are performing, because it was great. And there's actually a lot of students that I noticed in that performance that were at Arts Alive a few weeks ago and were some scholarship winners. So great talent in our district, and that show is just one example of it. We have Education Foundation Scholarship Awards coming up this week, so that is another exciting thing. Like you said, it's winding down. We've got the end of the year coming, but so much happening to celebrate our students and especially our seniors right now as they accomplish this goal and move on to the next. Swim lessons also started this week. I saw my nephew had day 2 of swim lessons today, and as a former kindergarten and first grade teacher, I love the partnership that we have with our local pools in order to ensure that our kids are learning those survival skills. It's so important living here in Florida. So I love seeing that, and I'm thankful to those partners in making sure our kids are safe and swimming, because it's summertime coming and they're going to want to be in the pools and we want them safe. Finally, I have some presentations to give, some awards. We had students attend from Osceola High School, the State Science Olympiad, and we had a winner, and we have some kids representing. The winner couldn't be here tonight because I think he's studying for a DE exam or something, but I have Mr. Andrew Hayes, the teacher that was with them, and some students, so if you guys want to come on up, I've got some stuff for you. And Mr. Hayes knows more about everything, so maybe he can share a little bit about what the kids have done. But I have certificates here for Vandy, Valentina, Janessa, Caitlin, Croy, Vanessa, and for Noah, who's not here, I know you're accepting on his behalf, but for him as well, so. Your name? Vanessa. Said it right. And
I think that's it.
okay, so you'll take those. You'll take that for Noah. I've got these for you guys too. Go ahead. You want to share?
So this year, I know Noah's not here right now, but he actually almost did the trifecta this year with Science Olympiad. We went to University of South Florida for an invitational. He and his partner took first place in one of their events. He took third and fourth in another event. Regionals, he took first place again in that same event, and then another first place medal with another student, Janelle, and he took fifth place in another event with Coach Busters. Then we went to States for the first time in school history. We finally made it to States, and with a week of preparation, Noah, who had a brand new partner for his event, took sixth place at the state competition for that event. And we looked at the raw scores, and they actually would have won the state championship if he had his actual partner with him. So, fantastic stuff. Croy is actually going to be one of our captains next year. So he won, as you can tell, multiple medals throughout his competitions. And he actually placed 11th in his top event at States as well. So, very, very proud of all these kids this year.
Congratulations.
I'll stand over here with you. Do you want to get one?
You should give it to a kid, they'll know.
I'm
sorry.
Yeah, no, it's all right. We're iPhone people.
Yeah,
It's
right.
Android. It's
It's your fault.
Yes. Congratulations.
Thanks.
So proud.
I did.
Oh, you did? Can you send them to me?
With that, we are on to our fine arts moment. We have something exciting tonight. Students from the theater drama class at Toho High School are going to perform, I think it's Wendy.
He's on.
Wednesday.
Ah, the intoxicating smell of the graveyard. Once a year we gather beneath our family tree to honor the great cycle of life and death. Come, every member of our clan, living, dead, and undecided. I'm gonna celebrate what it is to be an animus. Come to me, my luscious wife. Oh, see your skin so pale, eyes so black, and dress cut down to Venezuela. Tell us what it is every Adams hopes for.
Darkness, grief, and unspeakable sorrow.
Goodness, I love it when you talk sexy. When you're an adult, you need to have a little pride. When you're an adult, you need to feel a little chill. You have to see the world in shades of gray. You have to put some poison in your day. That's the way when you're an adult. You have to have a sense of humor. When you're in adults, you need to have a taste for death. Who cares about the world outside and what it wants from you? When you're an adult, you do what atoms always do. Mi amor,
Will you love me forever and ever?
we shall be as besotted with each other as the night we met.
Our first date, you took me to see
Death of a salesman.
how we laughed.
When you're in adults, you got to have a lot of passion. When you're in adults, you need to really love your wife.
You're happy when your toes are in the mud. You smile a bit the moment you smell blood. Ow! When you're an adult, you need to grab a bow and arrow. When you're an adult, you need a moment to explode. Just pour a potion, flip the switch, and wait till things get hot. When you're an adult, you have to really stir the pot. So give us shadows and give us gloom, broken glass in a motel room, something fun we can all exhume and give it all tonight.
And on this night, we summon our beloved ancestors. Why do we do this?
Because living or dead, family is still family.
Yes, and how do we do this?
By dancing on their graves!
Yes, dance, my brother Fester. Time to wake the dead.
Torn asunder, down 6 feet under, we get to gather here. Dead for forever, blood from wherever, called now to reappear. Every cadaver, sight the palaver, once in an Adam's year. Hold your decaying, hear what we're saying, time now to give a cheer.
Line dance! Bunny hop. Do the twist.
Woo! Woo!
For Death rattle.
When you're an adult, that's right. When you're an adult, special duty night. Out with the adult. When you're an adult, it's one bite. You're obligated to the cause. It's family first and family last, and family by and by. When you're an adult, the standard answers don't apply. When you're an adult, you do what Adams do or die.
All right, and now we are on to proclaim April 2024 as School Library Media Month.
It was very difficult to follow that actor.
Always.
We will not be singing, we will not be.
We could try, but you
No,
don't want
it's
to.
All right, the Media and Instructional Technology Department would like to thank the board for recognizing our school librarians and school library programs. This year, our media specialists have checked out over 660,000 books and provided countless literacy opportunities to our Osceola students. In fact,
Our annual Battle of the Books happened within the last 2 weeks, and we're looking forward to when we get to announce those winners to all of you. We'd like you to please join us in welcoming Annabelle Verrall, 5th grader at Canoe Creek K-8, who will be reading the proclamation.
Proclamation established in April 2024 as School Library Month, School District of Osceola County. Whereas the School District of Osceola County recognizes the invaluable role that school libraries play in fostering literacy, promoting a love for reading, and providing essential resources for student success. And whereas school libraries are vital hubs of learning that support with academic, intellectual, and emotional growth of students, providing access to a wide range of print and digital materials that enhance the educational experience. And whereas the dedicated school librarians and library staff within our district play a crucial role in guiding students to become critical thinkers, effective researchers, and responsible digital citizens. And whereas April is a fitting month to highlight the importance of school libraries as it coincides with National School Library Month, a time to celebrate and promote the contributions of school libraries to the educational community. Now, therefore, be it proclaimed that the School District of Osceola County hereby designates the month of April 2024 as School Library Month in our district. We encourage all educators, students, parents, and community members to recognize and appreciate the significant contributions of school library and library professionals to the educational development of our students.
second.
I have a motion by Ms. Castillo, a second by Mr. Melendez. I have discussion by Mr. Aguayo. You are recognized.
Yes, what a tremendous job you did reading that resolution. That was a really great job.
Thank you.
Libraries have been the site of a battleground for several years now. It has been tearing communities apart. So it would be nearly impossible for me to vote for this in good conscience, knowing that that child came up here, did a great job of reading a resolution that half of the books in our libraries, maybe not that many, but we don't know how many, would be absolutely objectionable for her to come and read. And until our media specialists, and I know that there are some who would love to come out on behalf of our kids and protect them, there are some who are fighting the protection of our kids. The idea that we have any books that child could not read from that podium, to me, makes it absolutely impermissible for me to vote for this. I think that it is a slap in the face to the community to bring this resolution while just this past week we had a book fair that had books that I'm sure that mother would not allow her daughter to read, and that I certainly would not read to my kids. And to me, that's a failure of this district. It's a failure for the people who work in this arena. At some point, we need people to stand up and do what's right for kids, whether it costs you political or not, whether it gains you votes or not. The right thing is to always protect kids. And I would love to see the people stand up for kids in this situation. Sweetheart, you did a phenomenal job, and I would vote for 1,000,000 resolutions that you would read. I wish you would come and read them all. And it's not about you. You did a phenomenal job. It's about the job, and the job needs to do better. So thank you very much.
I have a motion by Ms. Castillo, second by Mr. Melendez. All those in favor?
Aye.
All those opposed?
Aye.
Motion passes. Congratulations. It is School Library Media Month.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
With that, we are now recessing our board meeting for our workshop on rulemaking for 2023-2024 Cycle C.
Good evening, board members. Tonight is the workshop, and we'll be bringing these changes that we'll be reading into the record for you back in May for a final vote. So this is just the workshop, and these are being read into the record for that purpose, and also for you to have an opportunity to provide any feedback that you have on any of the rules. So Rule 2.262 is being revised. It's Student Welfare Complaint Resolution. It revises paragraph 3A3 and adds 3A4 to reflect changes in Chapter 1014 Parents' Bill of Rights, Florida Statutes, Section 1001.42, Florida Statutes, and State Board of Education Rule 6A-1.094125, Special Magistrate for Unresolved Student Welfare Complaints, Florida Administrative Code, that clarify that classroom instruction by school district personnel or third parties on sexual orientation or gender identity may not occur in pre-kindergarten through grade 8, except when required by sections 1003.42, clause 2 and 3, and 1003.46 Florida statutes, and may not occur in grades 9 through 12, unless such instruction is required by state academic standards as adopted in State Board of Education Rule 6A-1.09401 Florida Administrative Code, or is part of a reproductive health course or health lesson for which a student's parent has the option to have his or her student not attend. Rule 2.263 Student Welfare Complaint Resolution, Charter Schools, does exactly the same thing. There's a citation that's slightly different. It's sections 1003.42, clause 2, letter O, and so on. Then Rule 3.48, Service Animals, revises paragraph 2 and adds new paragraph 3 and 4 to clarify policy requirements that apply to students only, employees only, and to both students and employees, because there are distinctions in the law, and that was given to us by School Board Council. Rule 6.27, Professional Ethics, revises paragraph 5 in accordance with State Board of Education Rule 6A-10.081, Principles of Professional Conduct for the Education Profession in Florida, Florida Administrative Code, provides an instructional employee from being assigned, prohibits an instructional employee from being assigned to instruct the instructional employee's own child unless the instructional employee is the only certified teacher of record for the course at the school site where the employee's child is enrolled, and prohibits an instructional employee from tutoring for a fee any student enrolled in the instructional employee's assigned class. And lastly, any changes related to the Code of Student Conduct are being withdrawn from this rulemaking cycle and will be brought back to you in a future rulemaking cycle. Those are all the changes. Any questions, board?
I have no questions. Do we have to open this up for public comment?
No, that would come in the meeting in May. This is just the workshop for you.
Thank you. No questions at this time.
Alrighty, thank you very much, board.
We are reconvening our regular board meeting. We are on to agenda modifications. Dr. Shanoff,
No modifications tonight, Madam Chair.
Mr. Melendez,
801, 910, and 1202.
can you repeat the last one?
801, 910, and 1202.
Thank you. Mr. Arguello,
908, 13.01, 14.02, 15.05.
Ms. Castillo,
Ma'am.
so at this time I need a motion to amend the agenda as proposed. Discussion on 8.01, 9.10, 12.02, 9.08, 13.01, 14.02, 15.05.
So moved.
Second.
I have a motion by Ms. Castillo to amend the agenda, a second by Mr. Melendez. All those in favor? Aye. All those opposed? Motion passes. I need a motion to approve the agenda. This was the whole conversation we had last time, so we have to amend
fine.
and then
Motion to
approve
approve.
according to Ms. Corrin.
Yes, ma'am.
Motion to approve. Motion to approve the agenda as amended by Ms. Castillo.
Second.
Second by Mr. Melendez. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. All those opposed? Motion passes. So we are on to 8.01. Mr. Arguello, or sorry, Mr. Melendez.
Go ahead, I'm sorry. I didn't know the order was about. Okay. This one is a little bit of a unique situation. I just wanted to discuss it with the rest of the board so you guys can see that. This is the dual enrollment of a homeschooled student to attend OTEC for like one class. And so it gets a little confusing because we get like partial FTE, but I wasn't sure, are we getting partial FTE like they're paying for college tuition like they would do at Valencia, and then there's a tuition rate reimbursement? Because the other issue too is because if it's not like that simple and it's like spreading out the student, saying, okay, you're like a partial student, so I don't know how we code that for FTE purposes. Because one thing I would recommend is if somebody's homeschooling and they're gonna send them to our schools for only special classes and kind of cherry pick, that I would prefer them to go under Osceola Virtual and be our student 100%, so we can capture the entire FTE. Because when they're homeschooled, they have to have some kind of, curriculum guideline to do, and so they can still have their parents teach them if they want to teach. They don't have to have our teacher, but at least they have our curriculum so they can follow it. And then, because it gets kind of confusing how people can kind of cherry pick and then only choose one or two classes to attend our school, and we have to kind of like change our master schedules. This is a simple voting and approving, but it's a logistical bureaucratic nightmare in the back end to try to accommodate scheduling and forecasting of students when we don't even know how many people are in the same situation.
Mr. Arguello, you're recognized.
These are homeschool parents. They don't want their kid in the schools. So leave it to a bureaucrat to say, it is a bureaucratic nightmare, we need to bring them into the system. They don't want to be in the system.
Well, they are, because they're saying they want to enroll in OTEC.
That's
They
right.
wanna enroll in the
And they're
program.
and they're entitled. And so they're entitled. I'm gonna motion to approve.
Okay, you don't even understand what I'm saying, but that's okay, that's a whole different argument. I'm talking about the technicality behind it.
Ms. Castillo, you're recognized.
Thank you. I do understand what you're saying, however, and I was just looking at this, I don't know if anybody can confirm. I think by law, we have to provide certain privileges to homeschool students. So that's what allows us to do that. I don't know what the law is, I was just looking for it, but I think that's the reason why this is even a discussion.
But so how does it get reimbursed? Does it get reimbursed as if new enrollment, or is it like it's a partial FTE credit? Because it's a cost burden to us. So how much money are we getting for this? I mean, is this, hey, you can choose to come here, but you're not here, you're not a student, so you're not gonna count towards FTE, so we're not gonna collect any revenue, but they're gonna be an expense to the district.
We can go ahead and investigate and determine
Yeah, I'm
how
not-
that gets reimbursed.
I'm not familiar with the situation, we'll have to look into it.
Dual enrollment, that's, I think, what's different, and, I'm sorry, Madam Chair.
So here we have a few, yes, Mr. Aguayo, ahead.
Go ahead, I'll
Yes, I would say that if this was just like a regular class, like for example, when our homeschool students come into our schools for like sports, I can see how that's a little bit cleaner. I think in your case, the challenge is that it is a college credit. Is that why it's a little different? Yeah. I mean, I'm curious to know, but at the end of the day, we are still going to provide the services to all of our students, and we have to by law as well.
Yes.
Mr. Aguayo.
No, I'll withdraw, let's just pick them up.
We have a motion.
approved. Okay, there's
We
already
have a motion by Mr. Aguayo, a second by Mr. Melendez.
Yes.
All those in favor? Aye. All those opposed? Motion passes. 9.08, Mr. Aguayo.
Yeah, I spoke with staff previously to this. I'm gonna reiterate my message that I hope that we start widening the net. This is the perfect type of contract with which we could draw in local people, according to those programs. This is the perfect type of thing to help the local economy, the local community, is contracts like these, and we can't get anyone local. So I'm gonna reiterate that message. With that, I'll motion to approve.
Second. Motion by Mr. Aguayo, second by Ms. Castillo. All those in favor?
Aye.
All those opposed? Motion passes. 9.10, Mr. Melendez.
Thank you. This actually has something that I wanna, sing the praises of. Because a lot of times I'm very critical about certain purchasing agreements, but when they get it right, it's nice to give them acknowledgement as well. Even if there's one issue that's in there, but it has to do more with legal concerns. Number one, I like the fact that this agenda item is an amendment that has attached the original contract so we can review it. So that was critical before we're getting amendments and not seeing how they tied in. So thank you, staff, for including the original contract in there so we can kind of follow the history of it. Number two, they actually did very good. If you look at page 11 of the original contract, which says 413 on the bottom, the contract says that we're automatically gonna increase our fees by 5% the subsequent year. And yet, when I look at the amendment, staff held strong and retained the same price from the original agreement to this amendment. So staff, thank you, saved us 5%. So yes, again, I've been upon the table when staff, sometimes does things that, I don't think is really, in alignment with the strategic plan. But I'm here to tell you that staff is doing a wonderful job by listening to the concerns of the district and really holding fast. Because this is when you renew and with confidence, when you know that you're able to hold the price and it's not even escalating, saving the district 5%. So I'll acknowledge staff that's over there. I see purchasing department in the back, wave your hand. So, great job. Now, the only issue, since I actually read the contract, from a legal perspective, there was no venue for when you get sued. We have like boilerplate contract that says that if there's a disagreement, that you're gonna get sued in Osceola County, in the federal, middle district, whatever. That language is not in this contract. And so I had spoken with Sarah Corin, our attorney, and she agreed that moving forward, we really have to look at our contract boilerplate language and make sure they're consistent, because the school district can't always do work locally. We have to work with vendors that provide certain products that are from other states and other jurisdictions. So if we do get into a contract dispute, it's important that the venue is in Osceola County and the middle district of the federal court. So I'm still gonna approve this because I don't wanna ask for the amendment to the original contract unless they want to, but I don't wanna mess with it because I like the price that we're getting. Because if I get my venue, I might lose my 5% because our agreement says 5%, so I'm gonna stick to the price. But just moving forward, I wanna make sure those type of languages there.
Well, I like them in agreements. Under Florida law, if we were to be sued, we have to be sued in Osceola County. And if we sued, we'd have jurisdiction over them in Osceola because they're doing business in Osceola. So we ought to have it as standard boilerplate. To me, it's always been with what we looked at. But the backup is the law. But it should be in there.
Yeah, and they are present in other contracts. It just happens to be this one happened to slip by. But I noticed it though. And so in the future, if we can make sure that the language is in all the contracts moving forward. So motion approved.
Motion by Mr. Melendez, a second by Ms. Castillo. All those in favor? Aye. All those opposed? Motion passes. We are on to informational item, but I do have 12.02 pulled by Mr. Melendez for discussion.
Yes, the school calendars, again, this is about, just really the board getting all the information. Because I remember a couple years ago, we approved the calendar, the next thing you know, I had the unions and some folks tell me this wasn't good, this is what we liked. So in the future, I would like in a staff analysis, some kind of document from the union saying that we like this and that we approve it. So just so, so if we're gonna change, calendars of buses and professional student services, I just want that confidence to know that it's not just a staff recommendation, but it was also approved by them, that the Teamsters or whatever collective bargaining unit that's impacted, that they gave it the thumbs up and there's no disagreement in the land, so to speak. And so that way we know that, hey, all parties came to the table, we're kosher, and there's no disagreements.
Thank you.
So I got a head nod from the superintendent, so I'm happy with that. So, motion approved, over to Ms.
Information.
Oh, okay, never mind.
13.01, Mr. Arguello.
No withdrawal. Motion to approve.
Second. We have a motion to approve 13.01 by Mr. Arguello, second by Ms. Castillo. All those in favor? Aye. All those opposed? Motion passes. 14.01.
Motion approved.
Motion by Mr. Melendez.
Second.
Second by Ms. Castillo. All those in favor? Aye. All those opposed? Motion passes. 14.02, Mr. Arguello.
So I had a lot of people reach out to me regarding this agenda item. And I spoke with our superintendent, deeply had a very in-depth conversation about the details of this agenda item. So I understand a lot of the concerns that people would have regarding these positions. So one was cost, and the superintendent had a great explanation for the cost of these and for the cost savings and how money was being saved in places in the general fund to fund these jobs. So it's not costing us more. The other thing is change, right? A lot of people were concerned with certain aspects of change. And I'm not immune to change being of a concern to me, right? But in this district, I'm not sure that, well, who knows? This district absolutely could use some change. And the bottom line is that we hired Dr. Shanoff to bring change. We hired Dr. Shanoff to have an impact. If we hired Dr. Shanoff to do the same thing that we've been doing since I've been here 3 years and longer, then Dr. Shanoff wouldn't have been the guy to do that. That wasn't the person. And I felt when I voted for Dr. Shanoff that he was gonna bring change. Now that the change is coming, I don't think that it's necessarily a good thing to double guess. I think that in the end, we have to at least come to the understanding that the intentions here are good. They're not my intentions. They're not the intentions of my fellow school board members. These are the intentions of a leader trying to do the best that he possibly can for the school district. So for all the people who have reached out, I hear you, I understand your concerns, I absolutely empathize with the uncertainty, but I do have confidence in Dr. Shanoff to make the changes that he needs to do to take our school district to a better place than it has been. I would, so I'm gonna support the changes. I'm gonna motion to approve 1402. In fact, I do motion to approve 1402, and Godspeed, Dr. Shanoff.
Second. We have a motion and a second. After discussion by Mr. Melendez.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I too had certain, reservations, but I understand that when the new superintendent came in, to echo Mr. Arroyo's sentiment, that we wanted to also empower the superintendent to make the changes necessary to succeed. And one of the positions that I did appreciate, the new position of Director of School Transformation. Somebody whose sole purpose, and I kind of told him that it really shouldn't fall underneath somebody's department. It should be a swing person to be able to look at innovating in all aspects. It's almost like an internal auditor that's kind of like seeing the entire operation. Because what happens is sometimes people work in a specific department, you kind of get a little tunnel vision, and you see things and you have to pull out fires all the time. It's nice to have somebody who has a little bit of positional latitude to be able to look at the entire landscape and say, okay, what are ways that we can improve? Like I just came from a conference in Miami, and like I said, I have more notes, and I didn't want to just read them off to you now at the board meeting, but I did speak with Dr. Shanoff, and we spoke about, wow, there's some innovative things that we learned that we can institute. And so having somebody be that person to kind of just drive change and not be responsible for one specific department, but have their hands on as a flexible person to do that, I thought was really critical. My only concern, just being transparent about it, is that having a chief academic officer, a deputy superintendent, and a chief of staff seems kind of top heavy, when you're kind of redundant in some of those positions. So we're talking about maybe the possibility in the future of maybe phasing out one of those positions, so that way there's more of a clear command and control structure. But at this point, I'm gonna go ahead and approve this item, knowing that that has to be something to look at. And then my other concern that we have to look at, which I mentioned publicly many times, especially during the superintendent search process, we looked at the admin schedule, salary schedule, and we looked at what coordinators make. We look at what directors make, what executive directors make. The salary range of a coordinator supersedes that of an executive director. Like the high end of what a coordinator makes is higher than the starting point of an executive director. So we have the possibility that a coordinator is making more money than their boss, and not only their boss, but their boss's boss. So at some point, that salary compression has to get addressed. And so those with higher levels of responsibility need to make more than those beneath them. That's just a basic tenet of organizational practice, not even just for like the school district. And so those are things that, again, I'm approving this, but it's almost like, to me, those are two things that this board and hopefully the superintendent can tackle in the future. And so with that, I'll go ahead and I'll second the motion. I just wanted to make it known that there, it's kind of like there's things that I'd like to see addressed.
Thank you. I have a motion and a second. I was not going to make comment on this because I do agree with some of the things my fellow board members have said in trusting our superintendent to make these decisions, make these changes for our district. But I did receive a letter in my inbox. I didn't get a lot of, feedback from the community on this one, but there was a letter in my mailbox today from our OCEA representatives, and I just want to encourage our OCEA representatives to reach out to us directly and have the conversation with us, or I don't know if the conversation was had with you in relation to the questions and the concerns they have to these, but to reach out to you and have that conversation with you. One of the questions they asked are, how are these 5 positions going to help teachers, students, and staff? And I do believe that they are directly going to help our teachers, our students, and our staff, because you've been very mindful, very meticulous in the positions you're creating in order to alleviate some of the workload that your district leaders are carrying right now, in order for them to do a better job, in order for them to help move our district from where we are to where we really want to be. So with that, I also am going to approve this, but I just want our OCA representatives to know that this is not, we're not doing this to take money away, as it was stated earlier, from our paras or from our teachers. We are doing this to directly benefit them. So please reach out to me directly, have a conversation with me. I know my board members, I think, would be open to conversations as well, and I know Dr. Shanoff would as well. So, rather than just sending a note, have a conversation and let's talk it through. Would you like to say something?
Yes, thank you, Madam Chair. And I know I don't need to say anything because I appreciate the support of the board members, but I respect our employees enough for them to hear from me directly relative to this issue. So if you'll just indulge me for a minute and start the timer, Dr. Clayton. All good, I'm not above
3
the law.
minutes, you're on.
So
If it'll start.
when I got here, I took the batteries out. When I got here, the most important thing for me was to ensure that I got a good view of the entire landscape. I needed to be able to see everything that the board members had shared with me, that the executive leadership had shared with me, that people had shared with me during the meet and greets, and thanks to a very dedicated group, we had 10 town halls. We've had over 10 teacher-staff conversations where we have curated all of these concerns, and everything comes back to a central theme of ensuring alignment in the name of having a better experience as a student, as a teacher, as a principal, as a parent. And all of those things have really kind of gone into my thinking. I've also had the opportunity to visit every school. I've had the opportunity to see everything occurring across all of our schools. I've had good visibility into the prevalent practices that exist across our district. And I know what our teachers are asking for because the teachers have told me. And I have a very good working relationship with Janet Moody. Janet and I talk very often. Janet and I spoke today. We spoke today about those exact concerns. And we were able to work through those concerns. And she was going to go back to her membership and make sure that those things were communicated. At the end of the day, this is about providing a great experience for our kids. This is about moving our outcomes. This is about ensuring that everybody gets the support that they need. And that every teacher feels successful in this district. Every student feels successful, and every parent feels confident about them sending their own kids into a school, one of ours, and ensuring that my kid is going to come back this afternoon safe and a better person and a better academic than they were when I sent them to school in the morning. And that's what this is about. And if I believe I can do that by making some minor tweaks to the organizational chart, then that's how we're going to proceed. And we're going to do so, and we're going to do so very carefully. And we're going to do so with a lot of transparency. We're going to make sure that we have some very clear outcomes that are aligned to the strategic plan that this board is developing. And I think at the end of the day, we will develop an educational experience that the entire community can be proud of. And that's what we want. How do you bring a community together? You give them universally a great experience. And that's what we're working towards. And that's what I will continue to work towards. And so I just appreciate the board's support. I really do. This means a lot. And it inspires me and it inspires our entire team to work that much harder to ensure that that we meet that end. So thank you very much.
Mr. Melendez, you're recognized.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Mr. Superintendent, I think we had spoken about, the different positions before. One of them that we talked about maybe that may not be needed directly at this time, that could possibly be delayed, is a coordinator for employee relations. Is that okay if I pull that? We can have a conversation about that later, about how that fits into the big picture.
So I've presented.
Or if you want to have the conversation now. But
well, I've presented these as a package intentionally, that there is a need for all of them. I worry about pulling one back. We can talk through them before we even move to advertise. So then we go ahead and we find ourselves on the same page, which I'm comfortable with. So I'd like to get the job description approved. And then if we need to have further discussion relative to that particular job description and what the aims are, I'm prepared to go ahead and have that conversation with you.
Okay, I agree.
So I have an original motion by Mr. Arguello, second by Mr. Melendez. All those in favor? Aye.
The second was by Ms.
Oh,
Castillo.
I'm sorry. Thank you. All those opposed? Motion passes. 15.01.
Motion to approve 1501.
Motion by Ms. Castillo,
Second.
second by Mr. Melendez. All those in favor?
Aye.
All those opposed? Motion passes. 15.02.
Motion approved.
Motion by Mr. Melendez, second by Ms. Castillo. All those in favor?
Aye.
All those opposed? Motion passes. 15.03.
Motion approved.
Second.
Motion by Mr. Melendez, second by Ms. Castillo. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Motion passes. 15.05, Mr. Arguello.
04. What do you know for?
Oh, can I
Motion
miss
approved,
four?
1504.
I'm sorry. Motion by Mr. Melendez, second by Ms. Castillo. All those in favor?
Aye.
All those opposed? Motion passes. Mr. Arguello, 15.05.
Yeah, so 15.05, it's great that we are reducing the cost of this by $19,000. My comments are in no way to disparage the company that is involved in this, but I do have to protest the fact that we spent nearly $2 million building a football field that did not need to be done, all for the purposes of somebody to get their portrait hung over a scoreboard. To me, that is detestable. For a county commissioner to use a vote to help their spouse get their picture on top of a scoreboard to help their election is the absolute worst example of leadership in a county. It's the worst thing that a county official can do, yet that was done. It is shameful, it's disgusting. Now we have a football field that will forever be stained with the mug of some guy who's just trying to get himself elected. And that's, to me, that's always gonna be there. And I'm not sure, I would not say positively that once I leave this school district or the school board, that they're not gonna put that face back on there. So I just wanna make sure that the marker's there so that you guys all know that when that picture goes back up on that school board when I leave, that was the intention of spending $2 million of taxpayer funds. And I think that we merit an apology to all of the community, to every member of the community for that act of horrendous stewardship on behalf of everyone. That's all. Motion to approve.
I have a motion by Mr. Arguello,
Second.
second by Mr. Melendez. All those in favor?
Aye.
All those opposed? Motion passes. 15.06.
Motion approved.
Motion by Mr. Melendez,
Second.
second by Ms. Castillo. All those in favor? Aye. All those opposed? Motion passes. 15.07.
Motion approved.
Motion by Mr. Melendez, second by Ms. Castillo. All those in favor? Aye. All those opposed? Motion passes. 15.08.
Motion approved.
Motion by Mr. Melendez, second by Ms. Castillo. All those in favor?
Aye.
All those opposed? Motion passes. 15.09.
Motion approved.
Motion by Mr. Melendez, second by Ms. Castillo. All those in favor?
Aye.
Motion passes. 16.01, we are open for public comment. I want to remind you that we have a civility policy in our district. I hope that as you come up to this podium that you abide by that policy, and those from the audience do as well. Please remember to state your name and your address when you come unless you are a student. First up is Julia Tavares.
Yes, Julia Tavares, 520 Hunter Circle, Kissimmee, Florida, 34758. Listen, media specialist, I know that you work hard and you really care about the students and their learning, but it's time to step up. It's time to stand up against something that we all know is wrong, which is allowing or entertaining the idea that it's okay that some of these books make it into the hands of our children. We can agree to disagree on policy and politics, but I have yet to find one mother who thinks it's okay for students to have one of these books in their child's hands, even though those who defend the books won't say that there is something wrong with them having their child read these books. If you're going to make a resolution to celebrate media specialists, and deservedly so, you should at the same time resolve that we will never allow the sexualization of our children in our schools, our classrooms, and that we will never allow our students to be indoctrinated or politicized. As long as we can resolve those things, then I think the community would support this resolution. Thank you.
Thank you. C. Diane Knight.
I wanted to just bring back on to the table the subject of last board meeting about the flags. I have to respect your decision, and I do respect that, but I want to know what is going to happen when other flags are flown in classrooms and at schools, pro-Hamas, hate of America. What is the process and procedure going to be? And has anybody even thought of what that may be? Because that is the next thing to come. It's not, to me, last board meeting, it wasn't about a gay pride flag. It was about any flag that could hurt our students and discriminate against our students. Thank you.
Thank you. Angel Kova.
Hi, I'm Angel Koba, 2004 Fountain Boulevard, 34741. So I stand here today before you to plead, not just for myself, but for the community. We need to do something about our safety and security in our schools. OHS has had another incident where a firearm was found on school property again. And honestly, I feel a little nervous, I feel scared, and I think many of our parents in Osceola feel the same way. That one day we fear that it would be too late. Please implement, please implement something, whether it's modern metal detectors or please more law enforcement, or even random searches with canines, like how it was done before, back in the day. Please, our children need more security, and I beg. Thank you.
Thank you. With that, we are on to attorney's reports.
I would just like to thank the board for the work session today at 4. All of you were tremendous in providing your insight to us. I really mean that. Thank you.
Thank you. With that, this meeting is adjourned.
Did anybody mention that?